today's show, Dr. Ernest joins the roundtable to educate us on the state of affairs in Cuba. Raised the son of a Cuban KGB officer, defected to Newfoundland, studied in Russia, landed in Portland, Oregon. Dr. Ernest illuminates the social, military, and propaganda machine housed on the island 90 miles off our border today, August 8th, 2006, on Tuesday Noon. Welcome to Tuesday Noon. We're back. It's another Tuesday. It's another noon, and we're cheating.
How do they come up
week?
So fast?
Because we're cheating.
Oh, because I was
Would
thinking,
you like to know how?
What happened to my weekend?
This is the magic of broadcast. Because it's not Tuesday, actually. It's the Tuesday otherwise known as Friday.
Right.
Because where are you going?
I'm going to Canita, which is a resort, actually, and we're hanging out there for a week.
A week
I'm very excited.
in Canita, very
I have
exciting.
I'm totally a geek, a big stack of books.
Why is that geeking out?
And a laptop.
A big stack of laptops. Now that's a geek.
And I'm hoping they have Wi-Fi.
Nice.
And I'm going to swim, hang out by the pool, do a little golf, and veg.
Very nice. Dulcet tones of Mr. Jamie Whitley.
Yeah.
And across from Jamie, his evil counterpart,
Mary Bradbury Jones.
alter ego.
Actually, I thought I was the evil counterpart. There's the good and evil. And
I don't know about Mary this morning. She's totally misbehaving. Usually she's the one who behaves very well. This morning
Feeling a little ornery today.
She is ornery. So welcome to the show. We have an esteemed guest here who's we're just so lucky to have him here with us and teaching with us. And who's going to do the introduction?
Jamie.
Everybody's looking at me. That's me. I forgot.
I think it's your turn.
Well, today we have actually a really interesting topic, and this is so timely. We're going to talk about Cuba and all the things that are going on there with Fidel Castro and his brother and particular society and what people want and those sorts of things. And we have an expert on our staff. His name is Ernest, and unfortunately we can't give you Ernest's last name, and that's really for security reasons with family being still in Cuba and those sorts of things. But Dr. Ernest is with us today, who was born in Cuba. He's a University of Phoenix instructor. And Ernest, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get here?
Well, I tried many years ago to defect Cuba, and so I talked to my father, My father was a big member of the Cuban KGB, and he retired, so he gave me an option to go to Russia to study for 1 month. So, and then when the plane stopped in Newfoundland, I jumped on the plane and asked for political refugee in Newfoundland, Canada. And so that's the way I defect and never come back to Cuba,
So you're getting ready to go to school in Russia, or did you go to school in Russia?
I studied in Russia for 9 years. I finished my bachelor, master, and PhD in computer science.
In Russia?
In Russia, in Kiev, Ukraine.
Really?
Yeah. So then after that, Gorbachev took the power in Russia, and I made a decision to change my mind, And I said I will not come back more to Cuba, So I want to be freedom. So my first opportunity was to defect in Canada.
And your family, you still have family to this day in Cuba?
Yeah, I have my mother and my brother family, yeah.
And you haven't seen them since then? Have you seen them since you defected?
I didn't see my brother, but my mother came to visit me for about 4 years ago, and we spent 2 months together, yeah.
So she was allowed to come visit you?
Excuse me?
She was allowed to come visit you?
No, she was allowed to come back to visit Miami. So then I took her from Miami.
So you had to go to Miami and
No, I just bought a ticket for her to come back to Poland to see me, So.
Okay.
So.
Very cool.
Wow.
Very cool.
So when you left, did your father know you were going to do this?
He was the only one that he know that we never come back to Cuba.
So he knew.
The only one. And he made for me all the contact with the immigration and the passport to make sure that I'm leaving to study only for 1 month.
So this is really interesting that a member...
Thank you to my father that gave it to me this opportunity.
Yeah, so I mean, that was the plan, right?
That was the plan.
That was the plan, was to give you an opportunity to get out.
Right, so how do we find out all the plan? To talk, we have to go to the beach, and swimming underwater and talk each other with no device around, Make sure we have naked, so we have no device around, So we can talk and spend hours talking on the beach, Why we like to do that and how he's going to provide for me the escape from Cuba.
That's amazing.
Now, how old were you when this was?
That was in 1990.
Okay.
1990, yeah.
Okay. And so with worrying about the devices, is that something that every Cuban has to worry about, or was that particularly important because of the role your father played?
I think both of them. I think everybody in Cuba is scared about any devices, and any telephone call or anything, And because my father was a member of the Cuban KGB, he knows that all this could be around, So we had to be very careful and leave the house to the beach and talk.
What was his role in the Cuban KGB?
I have no right to talk about it right now.
Okay.
Is your father still alive?
He died about maybe 7 years ago. And so by the time I was in Canada, United States, I support my father with medicine, and money,
Mm-hmm.
He died very poor. In Cuba, we don't have this security, how do you call pension plan like we have in the United States. You serve the communist country, and when you get old, you are done. So nobody take care about you, So that's the way.
Are you a U.S. citizen now?
No, we have the green card, but we are Canadian, so we can go to Canada anytime, wherever we want,
Okay. So you're Canadian citizens. Interesting.
And your wife is from Russia?
Yeah, my wife is from Belarus.
Okay.
Bielo means white.
Yeah.
So you have to be white to live in Belarus, I have to have a green eyes or blue eyes, So it's kind of weird, but that's the way they are.
I did not know that.
So
how long did you know her before you guys got married?
I think it was about
A day.
about 5 months.
Okay.
Yeah, Cuba don't talk too much, we couple of months and we get married, so it's kind of cool,
We didn't understand each other, but
So,
she was good looking.
Which actually was probably a good
Good
point,
point.
a good thing.
Kind of cool.
Right?
She speaks Russia, I speak Russia, so we had the same path.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was going to say, because if she really understood you, maybe she wouldn't have married
Yeah, she drink vodka, I drink vodka, so it's
Yeah.
kind of cool, So
Does
we
she
had
talk
the-
really fast too, or is that
No, she's kind of slow Russian, very slow people. Blah, blah.
so? The fast talking's a Cuban thing. Is that
That's correct.
So when you speak
That's good, 'cause
Russian,
we're
do you
actually
slow
gonna-
down?
When I speak Russia, I slow down. When I speak Cuban, I high the speed of my speech.
Yeah. I'm actually going to slow down this podcast.
Yeah, please do that for me, so people can have clue what I'm talking
That's
about.
right.
Yes,
Ernest? It's
exactly.
half speed, and it's like woo. So.
Okay.
The interesting thing, we have this stuff going on in Cuba now, where Fidel Castro has stepped down because of surgery, and he still has relinquished power at this point to his brother Raul. And you can tell us, Ernest, from your experience and people back home, how do people feel about that in Cuba? And do they want him to die and relinquish power? Are they hoping that he's the savior and he lives to 130 like he talks about?
I had a conversation with my family in Cuba, I think a couple of days ago, and I talked to Miami, my family. I have a bunch of family in Miami too, Yes, people are already tired, and suffering for the communist country, Fidel Castro, Yes, people want this guy to be, dead, to make some change,
Regime change.
The problem is you cannot set that inside the house. You cannot go on the street screaming. Have to be very quiet and wait for everything happening,
So how do you communicate, though, with people who are in Cuba then, so that you don't get caught by this secret police? Is it
Right,
like email?
Yeah, we have
and other different type
no,
of
cannot
ways?
be email,
Email.
cannot be
I'm just
no email, no letter. We have people that go to Miami from Cuba to Miami to Cuba to Miami to switch some package, some money, and these people have the letters for us, and we can read what's going on, Exactly, And a lot of Cuban people go to Cuba from Miami to through Mexico, and they understand what's going on,
So you have a society that's really looking for him to move on.
Right.
Is his brother going to be any different? Do people know him?
Because to clarify, he has ceded power.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Now,
Some people think he's even dead. I mean, there's that.
They
rumor.
speculate, wondering.
well, the fact that Fidel stepped down, that means that the guy's really sick, because it's not possible in the communist country. Dictator never do that, They die being dictator,
Yeah.
They never do that, Of course, he's not dying, If Fidel will be die, if Raul Castro will be tell everybody very quickly, I believe, about Raul Castro. Raul Castro is Minister of Defense, Cuba. He's a very strong man, very weird. He's worse than Fidel Castro.
He is?
He's worse than Fidel Castro.
Wow.
He's just the guy that have the power, and the guy don't talk too much and make decisions very quickly, without thinking very much. He's not a very political guy, And he have the power. He have the entire military army that he control, So any possibility that anybody want to do something weird, scream or jump on the street, or do something is going to be eliminated very, very quickly,
Do you think he may have a desire to try to overtake, Raul and be in charge himself?
I guess so. The problem is when was the 80th birth of Fidel Castro, he was in the meeting, and he said very clear, don't worry, Fidel, I'm going to continue your, communist policy, we are going to do what you say, blah, 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 all the stuff. And he has to say that. So we don't know, when Fidel Castro that he may make a little bit change,
Yeah, is that real, or is that just trying to appease Fidel so he can get in that position?
Right, so he may say, no, we do what's supposed to be done, or he may say, well, he's dead right now, so let's make a little change, And everybody has to respect Raul, because Raul is the guy that can go wherever you are and kill you. Very clear, He's not very good talking people, not very polite. He said it's supposed to be done, and you done. You have to do it,
Do the sanctions we have on Cuba, do they help or exasperate the challenges in Cuba? Because there's this debate that as we put sanctions on, in reality, we're just hurting the people that we're trying to help, because those are in power just soak up all the money. They don't care about anybody else. So do we do Cuba a favor by doing that, or would we be better off to reach out in all kinds of ways?
All this idea about money, the, how do you call blockade?
Blockade.
No, the blockade, the only people has been suffering is the Cuban people in Cuba, All this Fidel Castro and their military people, the high-level Communist Party, they're living very well. They have good food, good house, good, positive food, health,
Well, and what's proven is they don't feel pain off of the blockade.
It's not pain. They have everything.
Yeah.
So,
and if you don't care about your people.
Yeah, if you don't care about the people, then there is no pain.
So it's not pain for this guy. Now, the people, like in my family, my mother, they're suffering, They got nothing, and so this blockade has been absolute nothing to the Cuban Revolution, No influence.
Well, and then what you do if you're in power there, you say, oh, well, look, the suffering is all that's because America is doing this to you, and that's why they're the bad guys.
Continue the propaganda.
You should continue under us because we can help make your life better. If America weren't so evil, they wouldn't do this.
Well, that actually begs the question. I mean, from your perspective and talking to your family, what is the common perception of the United States
Great question.
in Cuba?
Fidel Castro have touched us very bad about United States people.
Yeah.
Very bad. I mean, from the beginning, a very strong definition about United States, government people all the time. And, that's what we have, we didn't have no information. We have no TV, no media to talk about it. But when people start coming to United States, and meet people like people, people find out that people everywhere in the world want to live good, have to have a good job, a good health, good food,
We're all the same.
We are the same people, It doesn't matter wherever you live, So because of that, people start thinking, and it's kind of very weird. How come these people living better than us? We have only 90 miles, What are we doing wrong, And so people find out that the system, the system doesn't work, So, and people start thinking different way, Oh, maybe
Is that true? I mean, you walk around the street, you ask people, how do you think communism's working for Cuba right now?
Can you even ask that on this?
Well, you can't ask that.
Yeah, you can ask it. And then the guy will say, yes, it's very cool. We got everything we need.
And we love it. Is this thing on? Is this thing on?
We love,
I mean, what a place to live where you have to, you can't say things like that.
Now, let me explain you something maybe you have no clue about it.
Yeah.
Okay, how about the food in Cuba? Okay, how people eat? Okay, so we have a car, monthly car.
Monthly card.
It's kind of small books,
It's like food stamps.
Food stamps.
No, it's not food stamps. Not food stamp. It's kind of small car, with many pages, kind of small block, something like that.
Like a coupon book, kind of.
Coupon book, something like that. And we have month, January, February, every month, So at the beginning of the month, you go to this small store, and they give it to you 5 pounds of sugar, 5 pounds of potato,
And do they take one of those coupons
No,
out?
they write down the paper.
Okay.
They write down the letter. So, and then you go there, you buy what you have to buy for the 7 months, and you never return back to the store for all the days,
For a month.
If you run out
For a month.
If you run out halfway through the month, you have to wait till the next month.
No, nobody care about that. I mean, you get one whole chicken for 1 month, 5 pounds of sugar, 5 pounds of potato.
You got to make that last a month.
And you have to make all this money. So how people does, is just trying, a lot of stealing people for different factory. Because remember, in the communist country, everything belongs to the government. So they stole stuff from different companies and sell it outside. And they get some food, and a lot of change, a lot of switching money and object under the table.
Bartering, kind of.
They
call the
black market.
The black market.
Yeah.
Black market.
Food on the black market.
So all this stuff happening, So, for example, I send money to my family every month, and they eat like a queen, they have enough food to eat, I send it to my family, $50 to my mother, $50 to my brother, and they live like a. So can you imagine how a family can live for $50 a month? How poor this country is,
Absolutely.
How people suffering,
And there's no problem with you sending money into Cuba.
Yeah, no, the money is coming to Cuba because we have a company from Miami. The people fly every week to Cuba and do this transaction,
Okay, so
they're not searched going into Cuba?
Because Fidel Castro needs a little this money so people can buy stuff in
he
Cuba.
needs it for the economy.
He needs the economy
So
to
he
be
needs economy.
robust.
So he says it's okay to do that,
Got it.
It's
Okay.
okay to do that. They need the people spend dollars in Cuba,
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's the idea,
So and I haven't researched Cuba a whole lot in terms of natural resources and potential for industries and those sorts of things. If Cuba were free, does it have the potential to really thrive? Are there the elements there for them to do that? Road system, some industrial stuff set up, educational system, and would they be able to expand?
I think Cuba we have sugar, and coffee and maybe tobacco, But I don't believe that that's the biggest, economy target that we can use, I think that was the biggest mistake Fidel Castro to do that. I think that the best idea of Cuba is create very big industry of tourism,
Tourism, yeah.
Like Fidel did, at the end of the last couple of years, He went to Matanza, Varadero, and built bunch of hotel. So many countries from Europe, Italy, Spain, French, built a big hotel in the beach, And that was very, very good money entry for Cuba, So.
Well, there is a lot of pent-up demand, so if all of a sudden it were open, think of all the people that would pour in, people that haven't seen their families in a very long time.
Right.
Well, and I can remember Scuttle when some people from the United States have gone into Cuba in the tourism mode, and they've been, I think, Hollywood stars. But if I remember right, Jack Nicholson's been there, and
I think
Leonardo DiCaprio, and then there was criticism of them for doing that.
Yeah, I think we have 5 million people in Miami. A lot of people, Cuba are very rich, and they waited to go there, and invest their money in Cuba, A lot of them.
What's the population in Cuba?
10 million approximately.
10 million.
10 million, yeah.
And
you have about 5 million Cubans living in Miami.
With very good,
wow,
very good, inspiration to come back to Cuba,
So waiting for the day when it could be free,
and
they can come back, they can invest.
Right.
But is it going to be free? It sounds like Raul may just implement the same policies, and I know that Cuba and Venezuela are starting to get pretty tight because Chavez there is trying to protect his stuff and share oil. And
this idea between Cuba and Venezuela is very clear, Russia is supposed to support Cuba for many things: petroleum, oil, food, everything. So the Russian empire
they're broke.
They're broke, they fell. So Cuba have nothing to do, no food, no gasoline, no electricity, So what do we do? Well, Chavez had the oil, the petroleum, So let's communicate with Venezuela, Chavez, So right now, for example, Cuba, we have light from 5 to 8 to 9 light. So you have to do the food and take a shower between the hours. They shut down the Havana lights about 8:30, 9 o'clock until the next day. So it's no TV, no radio, no music, everything's down. So that's the way the people live, And all my family, it's no bus, they have a bike. I think they buy a couple of million of bikes from China a couple of years ago. You can see a lot of people riding bike in Cuba, go to work or doing something different, to live, So it's just about what I can do tomorrow to wake up and get some food to eat, What do I have to do for that?
To survive.
To survive, Now, on the other hand, I have to do what they send me to do. I think the last July 26th of July, they consider like a beginning of the Cuban Revolution, Everybody have a nice T-shirt, and a flag. that was set up like that. They give it to you everything. They give it to you the list, and you have to be there on time. And they give it to you statement. What do you have to scream? If you don't do that, you have problem. You have big problem with these people.
So that there can be footage of all of them saying, "We love Cuba."
It's a completely foolish environment based by the power, by the force.
Does the government tell you where to work? Are jobs essentially what you do?
I remember when I finished the high school, they said, you go to Kiev, Ukraine. Okay, I have to go. No choice. Can I go to Germany? Can I go to a different city? Can I go to a different country? Can I stay in Cuba? No. You are going to study computer programming. You go to Kiev in Ukraine, and you'll be there for 5-6 years, and you're done. And that's what I have to do. I have to do what I have to do.
So everybody's essentially told what to do, what they can eat.
Yeah, what to do, how do you live, how do you work, and how much money you're supposed to get.
So they were going to send you to Russia. They wanted you going there for school.
Right.
Now, did they choose Russia and wouldn't let you choose other countries because they knew that Russia wouldn't allow you to defect, which is why you had to be at Canada? I mean, didn't they take a risk sending you away?
No, it's not defect because, Russia was a communist country this time, and Germany, and Hungary, and Poland, and so Cuba moved a lot of students to this country, Okay. The plane go Havana, Warsaw.
Communist to communist. Basically what they
nobody
were doing.
stopped nowhere,
Okay.
So what defect? It's not defection,
So they didn't have a risk sending you there.
Yeah, right. You go to Russia, when you disappear in Russia, the Russian KGB find you, and send it back to Cuba to prison, So defecting where? How do you defect?
Do people in Cuba have access to the internet?
Yeah, some of them have access to the internet, and it's very good controlled by the internet provider company,
So it's a lot like North Korea in terms of you can have access, or China.
Or
but
China,
here we censor what you can have access to.
Right, and the internet provider is by the government, and they check all the email and save on the server every day, So I receive email from my family, but it's very, very general email, How you doing, how the family, We don't talk about any communist idea about something, We can't do
When
that.
the internet first started becoming popular, the belief was this was this great equalizer, and everybody everywhere in the world would have access to the same content, and so you could free your mind, and walls would crumble. And then what we found out is that countries started taking control of the service providers, the pipes, and then censoring the pipes. So essentially, they're just doing the same thing they've always done, and controlling the media and what people can
controlling the
think and
telephone, everything, all the latest, everything's controlling, So see, right now, Fidel Castro is sick, and nobody can ask any question. We have no media, no control. Nobody can say anything about anything.
How about the educational system in Cuba? Is it pretty good, or?
Educational system in Cuba is very good. I have to say that because I taught in Havana Polytechnic University, And I finished my PhD, way back to Cuba to teach, there. And I look at the system, and what they teach. It is very good. The problem is when you get so high level engineer up there, or a doctor, and you go there to the factory, everything is so poor, so death, that have no. It's very big conflict, what you prepare and what you're feeling out these people, Everything is so poor, so no very good techniques, for development, manufacturing, or hospital. You prepare a very high level guy that have complete nothing to do up there,
Health system's not very good.
The what?
Health system is not very good?
No, the health system is very good.
Is it now?
Yeah, Fidel Castro spend a lot of money in that, We got very good hospital, but because we don't have resources right now, the health require a lot of money, a lot of investing in devices, a lot of testing devices, diagnostic, so.
And everybody has access to healthcare, though, is that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
But do some people have access to better healthcare, or is it just?
No, as I said before, the high level of the Communist Party and Fidel Castro, they have a special hospital
For them.
Only for them.
Right.
So right now, Fidel Castro is a very secure hospital. It's very, very high level, technology, very high level medicine, with the best doctor in Cuba to take care about all these high level Communist Party people,
Then the other stuff for the common people.
Right, and whatever you got it. Yeah.
No, it's not much different than our U.S. Congress. No. Healthcare for us? Oh, you other people, you got to
totally
pay
different,
all this.
yeah.
No, it's not different.
So,
right? They have their own healthcare system. They pay a lot less than we do, and it's way better. It's
right.
Like,
right.
Congratulations.
No, well, to kind of shift, I think for probably Gen Xers, their first real introduction with Cuba, since most were young during Cuban Missile Crisis, was, and I hate to bring it up, but Elian Gonzalez. I mean, that's the first that I remember kind of being exposed to what's going on and the adversarial relationship and all of those things. What was your take on that whole situation with that little boy? And
that was the kid they were trying to take back.
Right, the kid that was over here with his parents, and then his father who was in Cuba wanted him back. Wasn't that how the story went?
Yeah, maybe she defected, or she came over in a boat or something, right?
Or the mother died. That's right. And then the U.S. government essentially stepped in and said the father's here, the boy needs to go back. If that's how I kind of remember the story.
Yeah, you guys are a fount of information.
Well, when was that? I mean,
I'm actually looking it up here.
I'm impressed. I at least remembered his name.
It was 6/28/2000.
6 years ago, and we're still.
But I think that's roughly right in the story.
I'll agree with you.
So what was, as a Cuban living over here, what was your take in that situation?
Elena Gonzalez was a toys, instrument for, Cuba make this noise, in the United States, and all these people make a lot of money, do a bunch of stuff. But why Cuban community in the United States didn't like it is how Clinton ordered, to go there as a force and take the boy out back to Cuba, That was really, we never thought about it, that wasn't happen in the United States, So
why do you think they did that?
I have no idea.
Prove the point. We're in charge. It's control, isn't it?
That Clinton did that for control?
No. Well, Cuba basically forcing us to take him back.
But so
now, why Clinton let that?
Yeah, why? I mean, if it's already adversarial, why were we? Yeah.
No,
I'm just winding you up, man.
I know.
No, it was very weird. I mean, Fidel Castro did very well. He sent his father here, with the new wife and new kids,
There was a good propaganda campaign for the father.
And the father went to church and asked God, please release my son, he's alone. It was completed, very good prepared game. And Clinton defeated the democracy in the United States, How you can go by, that was the main idea of United States democracy, And you went there with the power, take the boy out and send it back to Cuba. How that's happening? But that's happening, So.
But what I'm still trying to figure out is, I remember at the time, being fairly uninformed in this whole area, and I've certainly learned a great deal today that I, have never been heard before. But I remember feeling, because of how they did such a good job in the father's case, sitting there and saying, but it's the father wants his son back.
You make it personal.
And I struggled with that because I was like, I saw the side of the family living in Miami and their whole points, and then they did a great job making us feel some sympathy for the father too. And I remember being conflicted and kind of being, I don't have an opinion on it because I see both sides. And
sure, I mean, it's the blood is thicker than politics kind of argument, and that's what they pride themselves on.
But it's total propaganda. We do it all the time. You show the tears, you ask God to help you, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And at the same time...
We invented it.
Absolutely. You're marketing, you're evil. But because we'll do it with, here are all the little baby seals, and look at them, and they miss their mama. And so then, don't kill the seal. And we do the same thing over and over again. You touch somebody at a personal level,
and then I even think they did the story where several months later we got to see him back in Cuba with his dad. I remember that, and they were playing on a jungle gym.
And listen to this quote from Juan Miguel Gonzalez. I would like to thank the North American people for the support they have given us and to the U.S. government. I think that this has allowed me to meet very beautiful and intelligent people in this country, and I hope that in the future this same friendship and the same impression that I have of the U.S. people, that the same thing can become true between both our countries, Cuba and the U.S. I'm very grateful for the support I have received. I'm extremely happy of being able to go back to my homeland, and I don't have the words to express what I feel. Do you think the Cuban people saw that quote?
No, never.
No, never. We did. It was great PR for us.
Now, here's the problem. I come to the United States to request my son. I look all these things you living here. Can I stay? So the question is, you cannot stay. You have your mother, your family there. If you stay, every family you're living is going to suffer, my friend.
Because they're going to make the family pay.
That's correct. So the guy coming here and make all this art, all this feeling, and everybody was crying, like you said, the boy has to go to new father, blah, blah, blah. The guy may think inside, how can I defect too, please? Okay. I want to live good. But he couldn't make it.
So he was a pawn.
Sure he was.
He was.
Definitely.
So that's what he's saying at the end of that sentence is, and can I stay here, please?
Yeah.
He definitely.
Interesting. Okay.
You can't do that.
So where's this kid now?
Cuba, right?
Well, but in terms of, is his story something that is
12 years
continuing
old.
to be used as propaganda, and look how well he's doing?
Now, this guy with his family is right now in very high level security by Cuban KGB, special house, special.
So he's in that upper echelon.
He has high security.
Because he did what he was asked to do and probably got rewarded.
Right,
for
he got rewarded, and Cuban people in Miami, his uncle, family, maybe thinking to come back and rescue the boy, but nobody will touch the boy forever. Nobody, even the location of this family.
Wow. The golden handcuffs of working with the state.
Right.
You're rewarded, but you're a prisoner.
Exactly.
Yes, you have no access to anything. You are controlled by the Cuban KGB. You live good. You have a good house, good food. It's fine. The boy go to school, a special school, but nobody know about you anything. Nobody can touch you anymore. This boy is controlled by the KGB Cuba right now.
So you've got this Cuban KGB, and your father was a part of that until he retired and whatnot. But obviously your father, because he helped you, wasn't a true believer. Either he came to that over time or always felt that. Are there other people in the KGB, or this is my job, but inside you're like...
But if I had the chance, I'd help my son defect.
Yeah, if I had the chance, I'd be out of here.
What's happened? My father believed in these things. He retired, and he was so proud that I was no support, He have heart problem, high pressure. And he said, excuse me, what's going on here? I believe you're supposed to help me, and I have nothing right now. So he lived very poor. He gave it to him about 130 pesos a month retirement, about $15, $12 a month,
Whoa.
The guy have no medicine. So I need to provide the medicine and food for my father for the last year that he left, So he was upset and said, it has been very bad situation for me, So and I talked to him and said, okay, can you help me to leave? And he said, okay, let me do my contact, And I got all the connection and disappear,
Will the people ever rise up? Will this change?
Change what?
The social and political dynamics in Cuba. Is there enough will of the people that we think they're about to uprise, particularly the whole
No. Nobody can do nothing right now.
Because of fear?
No, because of fear. Nobody want to die.
And because as long as the regime stays Castro,
nobody can do nothing. Nobody can scream. Nobody can do nothing, unless you get organized and half of Cuba and say, okay, let's fight and let's die. Right. But nobody wants to do that.
And you need somebody who's leading that charge.
And you have to
because
find
they have nothing. They have no. I mean, there's
no food, no weapons,
organized
no organization. Nobody. Is anybody look
until George Soros sends
right? Is anybody met with 2-3 people in
$2-3
some house every day or every month? People find out and they kill this guy. You can't do that. It's no.
Is there a big jail system?
Yeah, it's no leadership. It's no organization to fight for the freedom right now. You can't do that.
And because of that, because there's no communication structure, there's no real way for the U.S. to export democracy like they see.
Oh, no,
like
that's it.
Like the U.S. organization seems
right.
to
Bush said, we're going to support you. Yeah, that's fine, you support, but nobody's going to do anything in Cuba.
And they're not even going to hear that over there.
They're not going to hear it.
They don't hear, and nobody's going to do nothing. Because Raul has the power. He's a military guy. He can go in tank and blow out your house in 3 seconds. Have to be very quiet, my friend. Very quiet.
It's like North Korea, it's not? It's the same type of control.
Yeah, control regime,
You can't.
North Korea is. The guy's nuts. I mean, he's. I don't know. I mean, would you classify Raul as a sociopath? I mean,
I don't know.
Raul is a very hard man. Very, very weird guy. Not very polite. Very strong, and he do a lot of stuff that when he said he's doing. He's doing, he don't talk very much, so it's very scary,
And how do they justify what they're doing? Is it in the name of? I mean, obviously they're spinning it.
Well, yeah, and you know what? It was in the response. He says, "God, I got to find that quote. It was great. The proclamation by the commander in chief to the people of Cuba." He writes, The surgery makes it necessary for me to take several weeks of rest away from my duties and posts. Since our country is threatened by the U.S. government under circumstances such as these, I have made the following decisions. And he lists how threatened how?
Right.
Threatened how?
Right. So again, that's
power. It always is. It's about staying in power, keeping what you have, so that you live the good life and your family and friends. And on the backs of the people.
It's about power. How can I control all this bunch of 10 million people that they listen to me and they believe what I said? Mm-hmm. That's it.
And you can't have the open dialogue like we would have here and debate those things.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Wow, fascinating.
It's a freedom of the speech, you know.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Well, my goodness, you guys, we're cruising up on the end of our period.
Wow, we did good.
You know,
we did very good. Hey, you can't leave yet. We're still
those Cubans for you.
The
I'm
Cuban,
out.
man, he is done.
Put those back on,
a fork.
man.
Is your phone ringing? You got. He's got his cell phone.
5 minutes.
I'm telling you.
What do we do?
You go. Come here and he becomes a player. Is he a player? Or,
you know, I think
we're done.
No. Seriously.
What do we do?
Thank you very much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to unplug your mic before you run out of the building.
Don't let the door hit you in the butt, and we're not even done. Right.
And
there was Dr. Ernest.
And Dr. Ernest has left the building.
Elvis has left the building.
Thank you to this guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Ernest, thank you very much.
There he goes.
There he goes up the door.
He's out. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Great to have you.
You know, none of our guests have ever left like that. I don't know what that says. Did you shower? You said you didn't shower. Maybe that
must be it. I don't know.
That was
must have been a very important
thing.
call. You know, I think just one observation that I made to this conversation, and it kind of goes with, if we look back, kind of the conversation we had with Mike about
Mike,
Iran.
Mustafavi, about
yes.
Iran.
Is that, and what I really heard is, you know, at the core, all people want the same things, you know.
Yeah.
The freedom, you know, be able to take care of their families, you know, food on the table, those kinds of things. And that we must be careful not to confuse government policies with the will of the people. So, you know, it's the government in Cuba that has that are the bad guys, not Cubans.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's the same thing you could say about us and about the former Soviet Union and about the Eastern Bloc. I mean, you take away the leadership, and everybody just wants to live, you know, for the most part. I mean, I don't think that's a gross generalization.
There's that great song, I'll date myself, the 80s, 90s, Sting, that Russians love their children too. And we're all the same. It's we create these environments to try and protect our territory or whatnot. It becomes a power game. And
right.
The people don't really want that. They just want to take care of their
the government's
well, because
job.
the people don't care enough about that in general.
Or are you willing
or
to
if they do,
sacrifice
they've
your
been
life?
conditioned to do so, and it's not necessarily.
But do you want to sacrifice your life? And so then you look at the Middle East, where people are now willing to sacrifice their life for what they believe in, so they strap a bomb to themselves. In Cuba, nobody's that I know of, maybe they do and we don't hear about it, but nobody's really doing that. So until they feel strongly enough to do that, or something compels them like a religion, you know, maybe it doesn't change for a long, long time.
Yeah. Okay, are we done with that?
I think
Can I
we
talk
are.
about something else? I was just listening. I made a comment. It was weeks and weeks ago in our conversation with Steve Burt about the $100 laptop. Remember that whole discussion? We were talking about education.
Yeah.
So I downloaded a podcast from the iTunes podcast directory, and it's called TED Talks. TED is this annual convention of technologists and really, really smart people that get together and talk about really, really smart things. And the one I listened to this morning is a video of Nicholas Negroponte talking about the $100 laptop, and he talks about the economics of laptops and the economics of technology and education, and how this is not a technology project, it's an education and humanitarian project. And I'll tell you, it really changed the way I look at this project. So I just want to put a plug out there to TED Talks. Do a search for it. It is a fantastic series, not just Nicholas Negroponte, but all of the speakers that they've offered up for free. So.
Excellent.
Speaking of which, our blog's coming along real good. Website's starting to fill out.
Yeah, we've got we do, Tuesday12.com. And, we all have email addresses now at Tuesday12.com. Mary, Jamie, and Pete at Tuesday12.com.
It's pretty original, huh?
It's nice, huh? That's right.
It's good.
Yeah. And
like
so you could write to us there. Yeah. That's
I was
right.
going to write to you about your blog and stuff just to pump up
Just
your
to
head.
pump up
Yeah.
my head. That's
Yeah.
good. That's I need it, clearly. And so I think we're in good stead. I've got word from the designer that we should have an updated design within the next week or so to start putting in place, so it won't be so generic. So hopefully
Excellent.
it'll grow there. And so I think that's all we have to say, right? Are we
It's
out of
been
here?
a great conversation.
Great
It was
conversation.
very
It really
enlightening
was.
for me. Wow.
Thank you to Dr. Ernest for coming in here and
We need to
sharing
get
with
more
us.
international experts on in other things. I think
Yes.
it's just very fascinating.
I think so
for all
too.
of us.
I think so too. It's fascinating.
Thanks,
Thank you for
everybody.
listening. Yes, thank you very much, and we will see you next week. This has been Tuesday Noon for August 8th, 2006. For more information on this or any other episode, drop by our website at tuesday12.com. And please shoot us an email at theshow@tuesday12.com. That's theshow@tuesday12.com. We'd love to hear from you and talk about you on the air. Until next week, this has been Tuesday Noon.